And now, from the studios of Earthcast Radio in the sweltering heat of the Arizona desert, it's time for the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. With your host, 6'10" RaunchFoxxx, the smokescreen machine, Paullywood, and our daily dose of southern discomfort, Bubba Ganoush. So sit back, strap in, and get ready for another great ride. Here's your host, RaunchFoxxx.
All right, everybody. Hey, what's up, everybody? RaunchFoxxx with you. Another edition of the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast right here on Earthcast Radio. Special day today. If you're feeling lucky, today is episode 13. And we're here to bring it, as we always do. Yours truly, RaunchFoxxx. We've got Paullywood, our smokescreen machine, and, of course, our southern discomfort and ungentleman in every way, shape, and form, Mr. Bubba Ganoush. So, Paulie and Bubba, how are you? What's happening, guys?
Hey, I'm doing good, Raunch. Another day up here in New York State. The weather is starting to feel more and more spring-like and summer-like every day. Let's see. I celebrated Mother's Day weekend with the mother a couple days ago. Had a good time. Took
Dude, are you eating something?
No.
What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
Bubba, what are you doing?
Don't blame me. I'm just sitting here
The
quietly.
fuck is that? That sounds like somebody's having a little side blowjob or something.
Yeah, no. Why me? Look,
I heard it. You guys know. Look, you already know I haven't been late in 30 days. Don't be putting those fucking sound effects on and messing with me.
Good Lord, man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just making. Sorry, Paulie, for the interruption. Go ahead.
I forget, where was I again?
I see that. Talk about a blowjob. He's oblivious. Where was I? So, yeah, you're talking about the weekend and the relatives. And
yeah, typical barbecue, beautiful weather, bunch of pictures, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, nice days, huh?
Yeah, well, you know what? Any longer into the year and it's going to be summer, it's going to be hot, and it's going to be miserable.
Oh, hot and miserable. Yeah, I know. I'm out here in Arizona, 110, 115, 117. Hot and miserable.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat out there. I'll tell you,
why don't you come on out here and stand in it for 20 minutes then and tell me that? Fuck that dry heat. It's a dry heat. That's like saying, hey, you know what? Fuck you, cake. I'll sit next to you in the oven. I can handle this. It's a dry heat.
Fire's a dry heat.
But anyway, and how about you, Bubbles? What's going on with you, man?
I'm terrified because I'm under a thunderstorm warning and I'm trying to figure out if I should be scared or go outside or what I should do.
What you want to do is go out and if you want to get the right angle, just go out with like a golf club in an open field and point it at the sky until you can like get right to the center of the cloud so you get a good angle on the on the direction of the way the damn thing's kicking. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Arnold Palmer, Benjamin Franklin. You can get a mix.
You'll be fine, and you know what? For the little hair that you do have, it'll be an absolute perm, so you'll be good to go.
It'll smell wonderful, I'm sure.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I had a little person tell me that the other day, standing next to me. He said, "Gee, your hair smells terrific." I said, "Thank you, there, buddy." And he said, "Yeah, incidentally, would you like tickets to the circus?" And I'm like, "Oh, we'll talk about that later." Speaking of the circus, did you see that act where they were hanging by their hair on that big chandelier,
yes.
and it gave, and boom, they all came down.
Yes, I did.
That's crazy. Just brought about that. And you talk about New York. I think Alec Baldwin, he got arrested. Well, not near him. He got arrested. But you know what he got arrested for? He was going down a one-way street on a bicycle the wrong way.
Go Alec Baldwin. On a bicycle?
On a bicycle. He gets pulled over, and he doesn't have any ID.
Never let him tell you that those New York City cops don't have anything to do. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, and he says, "You don't know who I am? Do you know who I am?" I've heard that too many times in the last couple of weeks. But so he went right to Twitter, started doing his thing, and the rest is history. So he's always involved in something. Anyway, let's get to the news. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Out here in Arizona, there was a town that was it has imposed severe water restrictions as the water supply has gotten dangerously low out here, which shouldn't be that much of a surprise out here where the National Weather Service doesn't measure rainfall in inches. Out here, you know what they do?
What do they do?
Well, in Arizona, it's so dry, but we actually count the number of raindrops. Just so you know. Also, wine and chocolate. Think about this. What do you think about the health benefits of having a little glass of wine, maybe a little bit of dark chocolate? It may not be as good for your health as once thought. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University, they found that the compound, it's called resveratrol, found in wine and chocolate, is not associated with longevity or a decrease in heart disease or cancer. Not associated in any way, shape, or form. And although served with the right mood, lighting, and music, it could lead to pregnancy. Also, TV talent shows. Paulie, you hit it on the head, a week or two ago when you were talking about, they're hard up for entertainment anymore. Bottom line is this, guys. The ratings are showing the TV talent shows are fading in popularity. Many viewers were surprised. American Idol, The Voice, and The X Factor, they're talent shows? But you were close, Paulie, close enough. Also, Arkansas. Did you hear about the judge that overturned the same-sex marriage deal down in Arkansas? Bubba, by any chance?
I thought I heard that they gave out their first gay marriage certificate this week, too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They began issuing licenses. It's absolutely true. And the usual rules still apply, though, like no time off from grammar school for a honeymoon and out-of-state moonshine at the reception. So you can... So other than that, yeah, go ahead, fellers, do your thing. Or ladies. U.S. Postmaster General Patrick Donahue said that we're happy with the financial progress as he posted a whopping $1.3 billion loss in the first quarter. Said we're happy with the financial process. The progress is there. 1.3 bill. He just learned from his accounts that he could break even by raising stamp prices to like $239 an ounce. Also out in Cairo, they have some archaeologists out there. They found hieroglyphs on a tomb sealed in the 1100 BC at the Saqqara near the city of Memphis. And that's home of the largest pyramid. The antiquarians were astounded when they noticed that one of the figures appears to be wearing a cape and blue suede shoes. Anybody ever heard of Laval, Quebec, Canada? Laval?
No.
Well,
I know where Quebec is.
Well, Laval. I know we actually did a commercial for a hair salon up there not too long ago. That's the only reason I've heard of it. But students at the University of Laval in Quebec, they've developed a gas-powered car that goes 2,824 miles on a single gallon of gas. You hear me?
Yeah, that's insanity.
Well, that, of course, is based on the fact that the driver is always eating at Taco Bell. Also, Donald Trump, he's, he bought that Turnberry golf course in Scotland. We talked about it last week. This is one of the courses which hosts the British Open. And Trump has always longed to own one of the British Open courses, but they said that they won't hold the tournament there if he names the club after himself. All right, I got $10. I'm telling you, $10 says that he thinks it over for a week and changes his name to Turnberry Trump. He's going to do it one way or the other. Willie Nelson, again, Bubba tell you he thinks he's a distant relative of Willie.
Definitely.
Gave a concert after he was inducted into the Austin City Limits Hall of Fame on his 81st birthday. He just placed his old tour bus for sale on Craigslist. I don't know if you guys saw that. But in order to operate it, you need a Class C driver's license and a medical marijuana prescription. Barbara Walters, she's saying it again. She's saying she's retiring from broadcasting. She made two networks a lot of money, both ABC and the network of plastic surgeons. And lastly, the NBA postseason continues. I mean, you got to love the Spurs offense. They take more shots than David Cassidy at happy hour. But anyway, that's how we see the news in and around the world. This is episode number 13. Is it going to be lucky? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to come back, shoot the shit a little bit, just the three of us. And then Bubba Ganoush is going to get up and try and get all serious. Paullywood got some crazy stuff. It is the 13th episode, so I'm sure that we'll work that number in some way, somehow. So keep it where you got it. It is the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast right here on earthcastradio.com. We will be back.
We'll be back with more of the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast here on Earthcast Radio. No Whimps. You know if you belong. Stay tuned.
This week on Lifetime Television for Women.
Mom, is it okay if I go out to dinner with some friends?
Where are you going?
Just out.
Melissa, tell me where.
Long John Silver's?
One daughter caught up in a world of lies and illegal trans fat. One mother trying to make things right. Lifetime presents Trans Fat America, Not My Daughter.
Hey, Melissa, have a fry.
No, I don't think so.
Come on, Mel. Everybody's doing it.
Okay, but just one.
All right.
Wow, that's really good stuff.
Trans Fat America, Not My Daughter. This week, only on Lifetime.
So huge, so huge, so huge, so huge, so huge. For men who would like to appear to have a package that strikes fear, then check out what we're selling here. It will enhance your manly gear. It's Wonder Jock. Wonder Jock. Wonder Jock. Wonder Jock. You want size, don't care for comfort. Modern codpiece bulging in front. Wonder Jock. Wonder Jock. Wonder Jock.
Oh, baby, when I'm not busy, I listen to Bubba Ganesh on RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. Give me some of that sweet hospitality, baby.
Go ahead, slow your mouth. Eat your drive hard. Do you have enough RAM? Bend over and let the Raunch upgrade your memory. The RaunchFoxxx Cyber Sickness. Oozing out of computers everywhere.
I'm staring at you intensely. I hope you realize how intensely I'm staring at you, because I'm staring as intensely as I can.
We interrupt this poorly made BBC drama to bring you this special report. Cheerio, I'm Simon Regal, breaking news. With the recent emergence of Viagra as an over-the-counter item at the chemist, there have been widespread reports of severe woman damage across Britain, ranging from third-degree rug burns to headboard contusions. Standing by in the field is British reporter Nigel Burchill with Sky News 1. Nigel?
Right, shut up, Simon. Nigel Burchill here in the field. As you can see behind me, there is panic, there are fires, there are very enthusiastic elder blokes running about in their skivvies. It's pandemonium. I'm standing here with American tourist Randy Longshanks. Randy, describe what you've seen.
It's kind of awesome, actually. I came here with my chick for our anniversary. We picked up some Viagra and Tic Tacs from the pharmacy. Dude, we haven't left the hotel. Mostly because she can't walk straight anymore, or talk, or see properly. Don't ask.
Gross. Right, I'm Nigel Burchill. Back to you, idiot.
Right, thanks, Nigel. As you can see, it's like a scene from a poorly made BBC drama out there. I'm Simon Regal. We'll bring you more as the situation grows. We now return you to whatever crap was on before.
Get ready to achieve multiple eargasms with the biggest stroke job in cyberspace. If the microphone was a clit, none of you bitches would complain about a long, drawn-out speech. RaunchFoxxx and the cyber sickness. Getting people off on their own computers.
From the producers of National Bingo Night, it's USA Thumb Wrestling Smackdown. Every bit as intense and competitive as TV Bingo. See the country's most nimble, most bored. Go thumb to thumb in wristy, twisty action.
We've been working hard. I wanted this my whole life. My trainer Maxie has had me flicking cigarette lighters for 4 weeks, getting my thumbs real strong like. It's worth it. This is my shot. For a thumb wrestler like me, where else am I gonna go?
People say women shouldn't be in the thumb wrestling game, that it's too tough. Well, I may be in my early 50s and mildly arthritic, but I'm gonna show them there's nothing you can't overcome.
You never thought you'd see it on television, but we're putting it on. USA Thumb Wrestling Smackdown. 1, 2, 3, 4. We declare a thumb war. Only on NBC.
And now, let's get back to more Raunch here on Earthcast Radio.
Do not panic. I repeat, do not panic.
All right, everybody. RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. Hello again. This is episode number 13, and we're just kicking back, chilling. It's been a hectic, stressful week for some of us, some more than others. Bubba's scared shitless of thunderstorms out there, and of course, Bubba, I will tell you, I moved from Baltimore to Arizona, and when we get a rainstorm here with any kind of wind, people can be in their workplace. They jump out of their seats, they run over, and they stare out the window, screaming and yelling like, "Oh, look, it's a monsoon! It's a monsoon!" I said, "Well, where I come from, it's a fucking thunderstorm. What's wrong with you people?" But it's a monsoon, and of course, out here, it's a lot of flatland. You get a lot of flooding too. So
it floods a lot.
Yeah, it can rain pretty hard, but you look out the window, and especially if the rain is blowing sideways in the wind, people are freaking out like it's the end of the world.
Oh yeah, man.
But
it's here too.
So what's happened? Was it warm and then it got really cold, or what's happening down there in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, it was close to 100 last week, and now all of a sudden we're in the low 60s, upper 50s, and then on into the 40s for the remainder of the week.
Paulie, think about what he just said. 100 now, 60s, 40s. That's like a couple weeks back when it was 80 one weekend and then 30 the following weekend.
Yeah, we had similar weather pattern up here, but I mean, just the idea of it getting down into the 40s in Tennessee in the middle of May, that doesn't sound right to me at all.
Dude, it's dramatic. It's going to be 46. The low is going to be 46, I think, either tomorrow or Thursday night. Man, this is you don't work like that here. We don't see 46 in the wintertime for the most part.
It went from 88 to 73 in 15 minutes here in Arizona.
Dramatic, man.
88 to 15 degrees in 20 minutes. It was like, what is going on? Now, I got to tell you, of course, that morning the sky was checkered with chemtrails. I'm not going to start on it again this week, but think about all these weather patterns being out of whack all over the country. So that's it. Like I said it before, and I'll keep saying it every week. Keep looking up, people. You can't ignore it. They're spraying us like bugs, and I'm going to say it every friggin' week.
But something ain't right. It's not supposed to be 46 degrees here in the beginnings of summer.
Oh, there's people are still getting snow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Colorado's getting snow.
Absolutely. So, hey, what do you think? You talk about guys that really know how to play it. What about this old guy, Donald Sterling? He just keeps screwing up. The embattled Los Angeles Clippers owner. He keeps screwing up. The more he talks, I mean, he's 80. His wife even says she thinks he's starting to lose it now.
He's got to shut up. He just needs someone to come tell him, shut the hell up.
Well, you know,
every time he opens his mouth, his foot goes in.
Well, it gets deeper and deeper. Magic Johnson said, I'll pray for you. He said, yeah, you had AIDS, man. You had AIDS. He said, but while a lot of people want him to just take the ball and go home, right? He told CNN, he says he hopes that he gets forgiveness from his fellow NBA owners and the people that he's offended. But why not walk away from a league that's banned him and is trying to force him to sell his team? Why not? He says, because I want to show all the people that are associated with basketball in the world that I am not a racist. And he says, but incidentally, actually it aired. I'm gonna miss it. I think I TiVoed it though. Second part of that interview's tonight with Anderson Cooper. But in the 80-minute interview, he actually touched on the subject of racism. He says he doesn't think that it's that bad in the United States. He thinks Americans deal with race relations better than other countries. Okay, well, we can see the obvious there, but he says, I don't see it. He says, I'm not African American. He says, take Judaism. I don't think the Jews have any problem. I mean, I think there's a couple people that they killed that are Jews coming out of a synagogue. What the hell is with... He says he apparently was making a reference to the shootings at the 2 Jewish centers near Kansas City, Missouri last month. He used working with other lawyers as an example of why he doesn't think race is a barrier.
He claimed that Magic was trying to conspire to get him kicked out so that he could buy the Clippers.
Oh, well, you never know. He's got a lot of movie theories he probably wants to get rid of first, but he judges others' attorneys by their work, he told Cooper. So if that's not an indication of something, he says, I wouldn't think that this black attorney was any different than a white lawyer. I think America has worked well with that. Maybe not as well as the African Americans would like, but I'm a Jew. I watch what's going on with us too. He says, I think it's better than ever. Doesn't mean there isn't anti-Semitism out there, a lot of it, especially in the South, but it doesn't matter. Especially in the South, Bubba.
There's no Jews here. It's hard to be anti-Semitic when I've never met a Jew in my life.
Oh, well, you're secluded. But anyway, he repeatedly apologized. He was denying the accusations that he's racist. He said he'd been baited into making what he made. I made terrible remarks, especially by the douchebag. What's her name? Stiviano. She's a monger for money and attention. All of her friends are, spilling the beans on her. But in this recording, and it drew widespread condemnation from the fans. Sterling chastised Stiviano for posting pictures online of her posing with African Americans, including Magic Johnson. He tells her not to bring Johnson to Clippers games. She says, admire him, bring him here, feed him, fuck him, but don't put Magic Johnson on an Instagram for the world to see, so they have to call me, he said. That's a quote.
He considers a picture worse than having sex with a man with AIDS.
He said he's pledged millions to minority causes. I support minorities. God has been so good to me. I'm so lucky, so I want to give. And that's what my life is all about, giving and helping whenever I can. So the guy is he's probably got a little dementia kicking, and God bless him for that. But I mean, he wants to convince all of the other owners that he's sorry for making racist remarks to Stiviano that were posted on TMZ. He says, I'm apologizing. I'm asking for forgiveness. Am I entitled to one mistake? I mean, after 35 years, I love my league. I love my partners. It's a terrible mistake. I'll never do it again. He said his punishment, of course, a lifetime ban from the NBA and a $2.5 million fine. He said, that's a little bit harsh, but I wonder if one day he could be back as an active owner of the Clippers. And how could that possibly happen, guys?
Money.
Wouldn't he have to buy back the team after selling it? I mean,
there's somebody's thinking ahead of this game, because I don't know. He says, well, what happens if he ever came back as an active owner? He says, I don't know. I guess I have to, look into the heart, and maybe give me a chance. Give me another chance. Maybe it's fair. I mean, for all of the aggravation and all the embarrassment, all the humiliation I've already caused them. So he's thinking that players there's not going to be the ban. They're not going to walk out. Either way, I just, right, wrong, or indifferent. You can't win if you say pro or con with this thing, but I think it just opens up the door for gays and lesbians and different religions and sports, and somebody's going to open their mouth. And, it's not like the Muslims said, hey, Subway, quit selling ham, quit selling ham. But, I don't know. That's a he's with the bimbo, and he got set up regardless. And there's statements like that get made every day, and it's sick. He's in a time at 80 years old. That's what he grew up around, so that's like everyday stuff to him. But in today's world, it's a whole different ballgame.
Well, there's no reason to tiptoe around it. Jews are strongly racist against black people for the most part.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I've never met, like I said earlier, I've never met any. That's in real life. I deal with them on the internet all the time, and that's, there's a strong dislike between the two groups.
So you're saying that the Jews hate blacks and blacks hate Jews?
Oh, yeah. From my own personal experience, yes.
But yet 10 minutes ago you said you never met a Jew. Or should I say someone of the Jewish persuasion?
I explained that a second ago. I've never met one in real life, but I deal with them on the internet all the time.
You deal with them on the internet. Can you give us an example? Because, ladies and gentlemen, forget Donald Sterling, Bubba Ganoush.
Yeah. What do you mean, example of what? That I watched?
Well, you said you've met some Jewish people on the net, so go ahead and tell me something stereotypical so we can piss off a bunch of people and they'll all listen to what Bubba Ganoush said this week. Go ahead.
Stereotypical. I watched a black man and a Jewish man go at it the other day because the black man claimed the Jews of having something to do with the slave industry, and then all of a sudden the Jew decided to jump on him for his culture, and they went at it hard with each other. And
here's an important question. How old were they?
Way older than I was.
Really?
Oh, yeah. One was in his 60s, and one was easily in his 40s.
I guess the point I was getting is, you get a lot of kids still trying to talk like they lived and breathed it back then, No,
the 66-year-old really did, live and breathe it back then. And I don't know, because I'm not Jewish or black, and I've had minimal dealings with Jews at all. So I'm just, what I saw or what I see is a strong dislike towards each other.
Well, I guess it's their upbringing, their mentality, and their own self-esteem issues. Because the last time I checked, we all bleed the same color. It is 2014, right. And sadly, it's those kind of people. And you're making an observation between those two, so that's fair. And if you're not out there, whether it's I can say the stereotypical stuff. If you're not in sports or if you're not in business or whatever, yeah. But sometimes too, when people talk like that, you got to look behind them and see if you see anything. If there's nothing behind them, it is what it is. You got to consider the source. But at the end of the day, listen to me, Foxxcast fans. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you go to church, synagogue, Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, Muslim. I don't care, because you know what? If you all start living by this rule, it doesn't matter, because whatever someone else thinks of you is none of your business. And when you awaken and you're happy and you're satisfied with yourselves, all this bullshit will go away. 5 years ago, stuff used to bother me that I could care less about today. And as you two get older, you're going to understand where I'm coming from. But what other people think about you truly is none of your business. It's their problem. They have to deal with it. And you'll find that most people that are unhappy, they have nothing to do. The only agenda they have is to try and ruin other people in their lives, because they are the most unhappy people in the world. So that's what they live for, screwing up other people and creating havoc in other people's lives. That's all it is, man. That's all it is.
Miseducation, too.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's deep-rooted,
Definitely.
And I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. The point is, there's a reason for everything.
I watch a lot of what we call minorities go at it amongst each other, and they get, harsh with each other.
Yeah, and they're just none of them really know what the hell they're saying. It's all stereotypical responses from the way they were brought up. I hate to say it.
Because a lot of people live in bubbles amongst their own, and anything outside of that is wrong to them.
Well, what about prison with the Woods and the different ones, the Aryans and
definitely.
You got them all right there, man. So that's being with your own. So if you've done any time, anybody, you know it as well as anybody. Paulie's just sitting there being so quiet.
Well, I was going to say, Raunch, truer words have never been spoken, especially in regards to, the saying that you live by, that what other people think of you is none of your business. It's also key to a healthy outlook and a healthy mentality. You will definitely live a longer, happier life if you don't get caught up in the things that people say about you or to you, in a deliberate attempt to draw you into a fight.
It's hard not to, vanity being what it is. It's hard to, listen to anybody be derogatory towards you, regardless of what it is, race or intelligence or anything else. It's hard. And like Raunch said, yes, as you get older, I think you get desensitized because you hear it so much, eventually it just loses its sting. But it is hard to ignore other people's opinions of you, no matter who you are.
And, you talk about that I've sit there, and I wasn't disagreeing with you at all. I just wanted you to elaborate. I've seen those arguments, and I've seen those same people. In one breath, they act like they're educated and the best thing since sliced bread, and then the next breath, they are dumber than dog shit and about as illiterate and so far down they got to look up to see bottom. So, you talk about, attitudes changing or multiple personalities or whatever. One day a person's nice, the next minute they're lashing out. It's everywhere. And I was guilty of it when I was younger, too, but I didn't really know why, and as I got older and developed my own opinions and had my own friends, and you guys are going to think this is a stereotypical remark because I played basketball, and many times I was the only white guy on the court. Growing up, while all my boys are listening to Led Zeppelin and those kind of groups, I'm listening to Temptations and all the funk groups, and I'm in a band playing a trombone with a bunch of black guys in black clubs because I was a funky black guy. But the point is, I got to say that my upbringing, I was not prejudiced or racist in any way. I loved all music. I loved all sports. And I was a pretty well-rounded guy. And to this day, a lot of guys of any color or a religion are some of my best friends. Especially on Facebook, it brings us back together like we haven't seen each other in 20 years, but we pick up the phone. It's, hey, how you doing? Or you go to a town and you see him again, you hug him tight like it's your brother, man, because, I don't know about you guys, but my high school days were some of the best in college. But I guess because of that upbringing that I had, there was no white and black barrier with me, and I'll tell you why. Going out of 9th grade into 10th grade, there was racial riots. Guys like H. Rap Brown walking down the street, Black Panthers, people with guns and knives and robberies in high school. I was scared to death. And, I was the great white hope on the basketball court, so I didn't have any enemies like that, and I know that sounds stereotypical again, but damn it was true back then. And I see it now. And I seen it all, man. I seen it all.
We've been living, white folks and black folks, for the most part, we get along great down here because we've been living around each other our whole lives. We don't segregate neighborhoods here. I mean, there's the segregation in the South is people with money and people without, and color doesn't play into that.
Right.
So, school, outside, wherever you went, you just...
Bottom line, the ghetto's the ghetto. You got all ethnicities and colors.
Yeah, kids are kids, and we didn't give a shit, man. We all just hanging out trying to, get the hell out of there.
Exactly. Well, we could talk about this forever and say things. I was getting a chuckle out of the way you were talking about the black guy and the Jewish guy on the web, but sadly, it's everywhere. People are in denial.
Honestly,
yeah.
I was literally shocked.
It got that crazy, huh?
I mean, just how hardcore they got at each other. And I was like, I'm used to I'm the southern white guy. So stereotypically, I'm the racist guy, the one that's going to come in there and say the stuff. And I'm trying to calm these two down, watching them. I'm like, it ain't that serious. And
the youngest guy, try to step in. I hear you. I'm
watching this going, what is the point? What do y'all, I'm not even understanding why they're going at each other like they are.
Again, a lot of anger. And, I think I know who one of the guys was, and I can understand some of his anger. His life hasn't been the best.
Right.
And, sometimes people have to vent, but, why do you have to take it those places? Why can't you just, keep it real, keep it 100 with each other? We all should. Well, anyway. Yeah.
It's just them trying to go at whatever they've got. Once I've ran out of calling you a dumbass or whatever I'm calling you, now let's just jump on the next easiest thing, which is going to be the most obvious.
I've definitely been guilty of that myself, without question. Sometimes it's just like, you know what, this dude's so and so. He's from here, he's from there. Let's just hammer at him for this. You know,
it's
like
an anchor thing.
You stereotyped, yeah. It's like, and then Paulie finally coming to Jesus too. That's good, man. That's good. Coming to Jesus. What about Buddha? Anyway, Paulie would be the first to tell you. You know, we getting our website going on earthcastradio.com and the bios, and Paulie put a bio out there. He basically said that, you know, he questioned authority since day one, and elaborate on that, Paulie, just a little bit too, because it kind of ties into what we're talking about. It doesn't mean it's race and color, but, you know, for authority as an example.
Well, I mean, part of where that stems from is just that, you know, I've always had kind of a very independent nature, and you know, at times not domineering but authoritative parents, or authoritarian. Which is the two? I think it's authoritarian. Anyway,
that'll work.
Yeah. Problem is that, you know, there's a bit of a clash between those two personality types. You know, your independence, you know, kind of leads you to do whatever the hell it is that you want when you want. You know, the second you're told not to do something, you're trying to figure out ways to do it without getting caught.
Did your parents have an iron hand? I mean, were they tough? Was it tough love, or what was it?
It wasn't so much a tough love. It was so much, I mean, for example, my father, you know, just a very intelligent guy, but also, you know, he was an FBI agent.
Wow.
And so
really?
And that kind of thing came home. You know what I mean? Like when you go to work and you're dealing with some of the lowest forms of life, you know, it kind of changes your outlook towards things. So, I mean, like if I got in any kind of trouble when I was growing up, I would get the 3rd degree when I come home. You know, I would be questioned like a suspect about any little thing that I did that was wrong. And, you know, I guess in a way it kind of molded me and my personality to an extent. But at the same time, you know, it also taught me lessons, you know, about myself and about how to cover your tracks and, you know, how to remember your lies and stuff.
Would you consider what they did successful, their brand of parenting?
I don't know. Yes and no. I mean, because, I mean, here I am, a guy who's, you know, unemployed half the year, you know, barely managing to pay my own rent and my own bills and stuff. So, I mean, you know, is that really more on me? Yeah, yes. Because obviously, you know, these are the decisions that I made and everything. But
just from my own personal assessment of you, what I do know of you, you seem to be polite, well-spoken, you're a decent guy. So I would say that whatever they did worked. As far as the employment thing, shit, that could be your problem, your state's problem. It could be a myriad of things. But
ups and downs. Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
you seem like a good guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, man. Bubba, I'm choking up over here because that's the very first time I think I've ever heard you speak personally about another person in general, like an individual to an individual, and that's kind of a rare little glimpse inside for you. You're an interesting guy yourself, man. I mean, I was
going to use me as an example. You got you, who was raised by parents who were there and were in your ass when you did something wrong, and then I had parents who, my only rule was don't bring police to the house. You know, I'm an asshole.
I can't quit you. What? I'm sorry. What?
I'm in a lot of shit, but you're, you know, so it worked. I agree with the
one thing, Paulie. I mean, you're not a Jew, are you?
No.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure that I was just trying to keep it 100 with Bubba.
It wouldn't matter if you were.
All right, that's right. That's a perfect answer. All right, well, listen, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Bubba Ganoush is going to be bringing it. He's going to try and be serious again this week. We got some friends out there in the social media platforms that, you know, he gets crazy and he's rapping and he's jumping around and doing a lot of stuff, but they just aren't really ready for his serious side. But we like when he brings it in his southern style. So keep it right here. It is the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast on Earthcast Radio, and we'll be back right after this.
More Tylenol. I can't shake this cold.
Tylenol won't help that cold, but I have just the thing.
What's that? Oh God! Oh my God!
Okay, protect your face, Harold.
Harold! Oh my God!
Protect your face!
Feeling under the weather? Can't seem to get rid of that nasty cold? Well, maybe you just need to stop taking those weak over-the-counter meds that do nothing but leave you feeling drowsy. This cold season, get yourself some Vicks Formula 7. Vicks Formula 7 is a groundbreaking new kind of cold reliever that uses special Michael Vick trained pit bulls to scare even the harshest cold straight out of your body. Simply blow the whistle and run. Before you know it, that cold will be long gone. And for stronger colds, try the new Vicks Shock Therapy Treatment, in which Michael Vick personally shocks the cold out of you using a bathtub and a cattle prod. You'll be feeling like your old self in no time.
Oh my God. What was that?
That was you finally getting rid of your cold.
Ginger, I want a divorce.
Oh, gee, Harold, you're sounding a little froggy still.
Oh, no.
Vicks Formula 7, just what the doctor ordered.
RaunchFoxxx. Hey, it ain't gonna suck itself. What are you waiting on?
This is Honey Baby. My pussy may still be bald, but Bubba Ganoush makes a real woman out of me. Work it, baby. This is RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast, keeping women wet since the first squirt.
Oh, sure. Then we could sit around and braid each other's hair until we get our periods at the same time.
Hey, Bob, can I get a spot over here?
Who said that? Where am I?
Bob, it's me, John. I'm over here. Help me out with this bench press.
John, you sound so close. Keep talking.
Oh my God, Bob, are you blind?
Okay, I feel something soft and squishy.
Yeah, that's Tom's thigh.
Hi, Bob. Oh, hi, Tom.
Back to being blind. How did this happen?
Well, I guess I work out too much, and lifting so many heavy weights caused intraocular pressure to build up behind my optic nerve until enough blood vessels ruptured, causing glaucoma, which when untreated for long enough combined with my family history of eye problems, and now I'm blind.
Weightlifting. It makes you blind. The preceding dramatic reenactment has been paid for by Rick's Yoga Hut. Exit 5 off I-93, upstairs from Radio Shack.
Walmart has bought out Arme, Maybelline, Clinique, Revlon, CoverGirl, and Sephora and captured the scent of the working woman everywhere. Introducing
discrimination.
What does overworked and underpaid smell like?
Discrimination.
After making $14 a day unpacking heavy boxes for 18 hours with no lunch break, all women want to do is spray on a little
discrimination.
Walmart's beauty experts have captured the angry female pheromones of real Walmart employees and combined them with natural scents like stale hot dogs, baby formula, discount holiday decorations, and of course,
discrimination.
So stop complaining, ladies, and pick up a bottle today.
Discrimination is available in all Walmart stores, Sam's Clubs, and gas stations. Discrimination is a non-gender biased scent.
And now, back to the only white man that made Shaquille O'Neal look away in the men's locker room. RaunchFoxxx, packing more penis than a Lance Bass Elton John sausage fest. Okay, Fox fans, from south of the Mason-Dixon line, the deep, dark, dirty South, he's never sweet but always stiff. It's time for another shot of Southern discomfort with the Foxxcast's own Bubba Ganoush.
Alright, as I said earlier, I do a lot of dealings with different people on the internet. I meet all kinds of viewpoints, all kinds of interesting people, we'll say, and I've seen every type of derogatory statement that could be made about any type of group of people that exist on this planet. One thing I see a lot is anti-Semitism. And I see people always saying the same remarks about Israel, about Jews, about this. And I always see this one that America gives more money to Israel than we do to any other country on the whole planet.
You think?
Yeah, I guess so.
Except if China ever pulls the pink slip because of all the money they gave us, but we're giving a lot of it right back to Israel, you say?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
okay,
so I wanted to know, where does this come from? Why does everybody say this and why? And everybody's always got their own reasons. Well, they do it because of this and they do it because of this. I wanted to know why. And I found out why. It isn't all this clandestine stuff that people think it is. It's actually all that money. It is true that we do give more money to them than anyone else, but it's actually the American Christian organizations that are giving this money to Israel. The Christian lobbyists, they're the primary source of income to Israel, and they raise a lot of money because there's a lot of Christians in America. And they're doing this to bring about Armageddon. They want to buy Armageddon.
They want to buy Armageddon.
Christians are collecting money to speed up Armageddon. Now, if Armageddon is what they say it is, then it's really bad.
How do the Muslims feel about this?
I don't think they're very happy about it. See, that's a problem. See, in the Muslim world now, they've seen the Christians as an enemy because they're directly backing Israel, because they want Israel to own it. They want the Israelis to own all of Israel, every bit of it, because according to the Bible, that's when everything comes to fruition.
There's a very significant detail to what it is they're going after. Right now, there's a mosque out there called the Dome on the Rock. It's controlled by the Muslims, and it sits on the site of the Temple of Solomon.
Yes, I know about that.
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, and it's just wild to me that Christians, these are American people, they're trying to bring about something that, if it is real, isn't something that you probably want to rush into. And it's just funny to me that the ulterior motives, I guess, you get all these people that scream, we give so much money to Israel, we give so much, nobody asks why, nobody wonders why. And it's got the most simple and basic of fucking reasons behind it, is these people want Jesus to come back. And they're going to pay for it to happen. They're going to buy Jesus' way back here. And that is, I don't know, to me that is odd, to say the least.
They're gonna pay for the return.
Yeah, they're going to bring them about. And like I said, I see this in these chat rooms on the internet and stuff, everybody with these anti-Semitic comments, and we do it because of this, and these people are running things, and it's the Illuminati. And no, it's just Christians who really want Jesus to come back, so they're willing to give up some money for it to happen. And I mean, it couldn't be more simple.
Put your money where your hope is.
Yeah, really. No more praying. Open up your checkbook. Let's get Jesus down here. Give us some money.
Let me just say, if you've got a $5 bill and a $20 bill in your wallet, ladies and gentlemen, and you reach in your wallet and you pull out that $5 to put it in the basket here at the church today, hey, I'm going to tell you right now that you be stingy. They say that money is the root of all evil. I say lack of money is the root of all evil, ladies and gentlemen, because when you don't have money, you start thinking about taking shortcuts. You start thinking about going the wrong way. You never know which way you're going to go in the first place. So if you reach in that wallet and you got a $5 and a 20, keep that $5, give me that 20. And if you got to write a check, I'll save your ass when that check clears. How about you, Paulie?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you've ever watched the 700 Club, you will notice that, there's a very strong pro-Israeli sentiment. The movement is called Zionism. And let me just kind of put this out there in case we have any evangelical Christians listening. You're not going to buy Jesus a bus ticket back to Earth. It's not going to happen.
We're $5 short from Jesus coming back. Somebody dig deep.
You can do everything in your power to start World War III as it's supposed to be according to your interpretation of the scriptures, but nothing, and I will say this again, nothing is going to rush God and his schedule. Not a damn thing.
Especially money.
Especially money. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of screwing around we do in Israel. There are tons of reasons why the Muslims hate the Jews. I mean, this is a conflict between two religions that dates back to the tents of Isaac and Abraham. And I mean, it's a conflict and a war, of idealism that stems back a lot further than 1947 and 1948.
So that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelites.
Sorry, I had to do it.
Well, you know what, though? I mean, I think that there is a conflict that's inevitable between, the Muslims and the Jews in that region. I mean, it's just it's inevitable. At the same time, you've got, all of the Arab world pitching in on these fundraisers. It's very similar. It's like their version of the 700 Club to make certain that a nation out there, probably Iran, gets their hold of a nuclear weapon so that they can push the Jews back into the ocean whence they came. I mean, it's almost like saying, well, this all started
wait. Jews came from the ocean?
Well, that's what they think. And I mean, not so much directly from the ocean, but I mean, Israel is something that came from the United Nations, which came from overseas, which is a result of, the end of the Holocaust.
What about the talking salamander, like with the Mormons? Was that from the ocean too, or? I'm just curious.
To be honest with you, I know nothing about the Mormons. It sounds like a cult religion to me. I don't want to go there.
A cult religion as opposed to the other ones.
We're talking about everything else. Might as well throw everybody in the mix today so we get some hate mail. Get some hate mail. Yeah.
Although the Christians might be pro-Israel, they're definitely not pro-Judaism. Because I've watched interviews with them where they explain, while they're standing in Israel, that when Jesus comes down, he's going to show the Jews that they were wrong and they're going to side with them.
Wow.
That's their claim. Is that,
Wow.
Yeah, we're all for Israel, but only so we can get Jesus back so that he can convince the Jews that they were wrong.
Wow.
Well, hey, look, if Jesus really did die on a cross, exactly how thrilled do you think he's going to be to see 2.5 billion people wearing a necklace around their chain with a cross on it?
I mean, I wouldn't want to see that.
It all started. Madonna's got like 24 karat. Anyway, the point is, with the Christians and the Jews, here's the golden rule: Jesus saves, Moses invests. I'd never let it be said otherwise. But anyway, go ahead, Bubba. Get back.
To fight now.
We derailed you, Bubba. Go ahead, get back onto it.
No, that's fine. That was it. It's just to me that all these people. I know a lot of conspiracy theorists who think that the Zion owns the world and they're trying to dominate and it's all this and control, and it's not. It's simple ass Christians from Texas pumping shitloads of money into Israel.
Simple ass Christians from Texas. Hello, Texas.
Texas, it's true. You can check it out. Go look, because the majority of that money comes from there. It actually comes from all of the area down here where we consider the Bible Belt. But Texas, being the size that it is and being predominantly a Christian society, it's a lot of money comes from there. But yeah, the most of the money comes from America's Midwest and southern parts. We're pumping money over there because we want to bring Jesus back and we want to convince the Jews that they were wrong. So I just like to point out to all the people that think that the reason we give Israel so much money is because of some ulterior motive, that other than what it really is. It's just Christians and Christian lobbyists trying to hurry up and let Israel own Israel so that Jesus comes back.
Again, I think the Christians should be a little more concerned about being more Christ-like. If they want to send $5 to wherever to buy Jesus a bus ticket, I think he would more appreciate it if they sent that $5 to a food pantry or to a donation, to help out a brother in need.
Pass that basket around, ladies and gentlemen.
And then, not to mention that World War III would probably be absolutely horrible. And there's no reason to speed that shit up any quicker than everybody else is already doing anyway.
I said it before. Everybody gonna be sitting home in their underwear, pushing buttons, turning off grids around the world, man.
Yep.
It's not gonna be no tax, no bloodshed. It's gonna be too easy to crush everybody just sitting at home. Why go out and get hurt, man? Let's just push a couple buttons.
Because watch what happens to humanity and society once the lights go off, though.
Dude, you talk about lights going off. Here, last week, right? I'm sitting here. I'm on the computer. Boom. Nothing. Computer dead. No access to nothing. I walk out in the living room and I say to Jen, and I'm looking at DirecTV. Boom! Cable goes out. No communicado. Nothing on the internet. Nothing on the TV. I'm about 40 miles outside of Phoenix. I'm calling into town. Hey guys, everything's out. I've got people that work in telemarketing rooms and sales organizations with big phone rooms. Everything's down. They're paying these people by the hour. Everything is down. There's no communication. So what's the next thing I do? I check my cell phone to make sure that that's not turned off, because guys, if that cell phone was turned off, I would have started shitting my pants that it's time to kick into survival mode, because they're just now shutting us down. And I just realized, you talk about World War III, how easy it is to cripple us. They could cripple us in 5 minutes. Turn off the internet. Turn off the phones. And incidentally, there was no local TV channels as well, because that ran through the cable here. I was shitting my pants. I said, something's going on. Something's going on.
Man.
So about that 30 minutes later, it all came back on. But in that 30 minutes, I was talking to people on the phone. People are pandemonium. What's going on? What's going on? They were tripping. They were flipping out. So all you people that are so big and bad, when you're laughing at those shows that you see like on the Discovery Channel about the survivalists and all these survival shows and people living off the land, you better wake up, because once they shut you down and you don't know how to live, you're done, people. You're done. And I realize that more than anybody now, because I literally had some high anxiety a couple days ago when everything went down for about 25, 28 minutes.
Let that shit last another hour or two and watch how many other people start coming outside.
I want to know if it's happened in anybody else's state.
Yes,
if you recall...
that happened here about a year ago, maybe a little more, where we lost all what you called communicate. We lost all media. All of it.
There you go.
It was chalked up as some kind of test that they were doing.
Well, that's exactly what it is. And you know what? Remember the rolling blackouts? First it was California, then it was Indiana, then it was New York, then it was Texas. There was rolling blackouts strategically placed all around the country. Yeah, that was a test too.
Right, definitely. Yeah, but we lost all media, man. Everything went down, and it was a bunch of theories. What were they doing? It's the switch. It's the can we do it if we need to?
Anybody listening, if you've had that happen to you in your town, email me at RaunchFoxxx@gmail.com. We want to know. We want to know.
Loss of media. Tell us about your loss of media, because it's happened.
Shutting down the communication, no internet, no cable TV, no local channels, nothing. And did the phones go out too, Bubba?
Cell phone signals, yes.
Did
I don't
they?
have a landline, so yes, everything that was connected to anything from a satellite, it stopped working.
They say landline's the last thing to go, so if you got one of the old-time phones you still plug into a wall, that should last longer than a cell phone tower. I don't really know. I'm not a telephony kind of guy, but that's what I hear.
Them weather radios with the crank on them. I think they're like $30. They got a little crank on the front, doesn't need a battery, picks up any signal that that you can get it near, and you just crank the shit out of it and it works. They sell them at Walmart.
Right, got it. Well, anyway, I want to know if anybody got freaked out like that. And again, we've had some interesting revelations tonight. We've talked about different ethnicities, people of color, where the money's going, certain states sending cash, and it's been an interesting time. And it all started with a couple funny comments about Donald Sterling early in the show. So with that, everybody, you got to roll with it. Cream cheese. If you can't roll with it, you're done. Strengthen up, people. It's time to survive. According to Bubba, Armageddon is being bought as we speak. So just think all those little chumps with food stamps. They're going to kick in. They're going to make it happen sooner than you think. Put your cash out. Bring Jesus back. We'll be back. You think that's crazy? We're going to get even further into it as episode number 13 is right here with you right now. It's RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast on Earthcast Radio. Coming up, that smokescreen machine, Paullywood. So don't go anywhere. We're almost done, but not quite yet.
Hi, I'm YouTube creator and way too young multi-millionaire Chad Hurley. All of you folks at home have been kind enough to share your videos with me, and now I'd like to share some of my obscene riches with you. That's right. From now on, we are going to attach ads to your home videos, and you get a share of the profits. Classy, right? Check it out.
Dude, keep the camera on. Keep the camera on. Shh, go, go, go. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
What is it, my son?
That!
Why would you? That is gross.
LG, life's good.
Right, guys? Like that. That money goes to you. Here, check this one out.
Dude, poke it with a stick. See if it moves.
Oh, God! Oh!
Head on, apply directly to the forehead. Head on, apply directly to the forehead. Head on, apply directly to the forehead. So send in a video today, you humps, and make a few bucks. YouTube, now it really is your tube. YouTube, it's the tube, yours, tube.
This message brought to you by MySpace.com. MySpace.com. Here, have a teenager.
RaunchFoxxx, the only man who wipes his ass with a towel head. Body's still attached. Don't fuck with the U.S., Habib.
So, are you looking for a place to visit? A place to escape? A place to unload every frustration? Then you have to visit the SSRC, located in the suburbs of Boston, home of some of the hottest bitches in the solar system. The SSRC, Sam's Sperm Receptacle Center, will stroke away your tension, allowing you to virtually unload all those nasty juices that are toxifying your system. Act now and come in to unload before the end of the month, and you will be personally taken care of by the sex goddess herself, Sam. If you're a guy and pound another guy's ass and let Sam watch, your session is free. The SSRC, Sam's Sperm Receptacle Center, making men happy, one load at a time.
And now we take you into the future!
Welcome to Into the Future. I'm your host, Guy Fimpson Jensen. Today, we bring you the story of the world's youngest recipient of a sex change operation. It may have seemed like a good idea at the ripe old age of 12, but what happens when he gets older?
Dad, can we talk?
Sure, Tim. I'm sorry. Kim. Still can't get used to that. What's on your mind?
Well, remember when I told you I wanted to play guitar?
Yep.
Well, I didn't really need guitar lessons from Eric Clapton and a $300,000 soundboard recording system.
Okay.
And then there's the time I wanted to play baseball and you kidnapped Derek Jeter and forced him to teach me how to play catch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then there's the time I was 12 and I wanted to cut off my...
Okay, got it. Yeah, you're trying to tell me maybe I could have been a stricter father, right?
Well, in some areas, yes. I mean, you can return a guitar and a baseball player, but you're...
Got it! Done! Understood.
This has been Into the Future with your host, Guy Fimpson Jensen.
And now, Foxxcast followers, it's time to debunk the debunkers with our style of telling it like it probably is. It's the Smokescreen Machine. Paullywood on the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast.
All right, Paulie.
So it's episode 13, Raunch, and I thought that, we've been covering some pretty heavy stuff lately, and I figured, why the heck not? Why don't we lighten things up a little bit and do, something just slightly off of the beaten track? So let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
What do you guys have you ever heard the name of a group of historical figures called the Knights Templar?
Knights Templar. Yeah, I don't know a lot about them, but whether it's Illuminati or Masons or whatever, I've got a taste, but I'm sure you're going to tell us more.
Well, where they date back to is the original Crusades. These were a group of knights, and they called themselves the Knights of Poverty, and they were considered to be warrior poets. But basically, what they did was they protected people who made pilgrimages from Europe into the Holy Land, particularly Jerusalem and Israel. And one of the things that these guys kind of contributed to modern society, in a sense, was a system of banking. They would write receipts for traveling pilgrims, and take their gold. And when they finished their journey, they would give them back their gold with a slight profit, being made by them, like interest, so to speak. And they were a very, very powerful group of knights. And for hundreds of years, they protected, European pilgrimages from Europe to the Holy Land, and got very, very rich to a point where they had wealth enough to rival the Catholic Church and the French royal families. So this is a group now that is kind of, you're right, Raunch, they're associated with the Illuminati because when they did vanish, it's believed that the first Masons kind of sprung from the remnants of this group. But their wealth grew to a point where they were intimidating the Catholic Church, and the King Philip of France in the year 1307 started drumming up accusations of heresy, devil worship, and basically was trying to drum up support from the Catholic Church to go and get these Templars. Now, on October 13th, 1307, in the very early parts of the morning, the French and the Catholics had amassed a massive army, and throughout France and throughout Europe, they had these knights rounded up, and they drew the accusations against them, and they started executing them summarily, just annihilating them. Some of them being burnt at the cross, and some of whom just being beheaded. But the accusations of Satanism were at the core of this purge. But it happened on a Friday the 13th, and interestingly enough, it's believed by many that this is where the superstition of Friday the 13th comes from. I don't know if you guys...
No, I didn't, but okay.
Interesting stuff. But you see, now here's the thing. With the Knights Templar, they vanished, and they became, according to myth, they became the first Masons. And the Masons, of course, are tied to, conspiracy theorists who believe that they're the first members of the Illuminati. And it's really their greatest contribution, though, was their system of banking, because they were able to master money manipulation, and it's a practice that persists to this day. I mean, our own Federal Reserve and the International Monetary Fund, they loan money, and at an interest rate that forces whomever it is that they're loaning the money to, and typically it's nations, to pay back more than they were borrowed. So you have these bankers who continuously make more money than they lend out. The same thing with our Federal Reserve system. The Federal Reserve, it's not really a government institution. It's just a privately run bank. And the privately run bank, issues loans to this country. They print our money for us, and we have to pay it back to the Federal Reserve with interest. So now, what do you guys know about the income tax laws?
Not a whole lot.
I just know that it has nothing to do with the 13th, but, when I looked at the bottom line of what I owe this year, there's nothing lucky about it.
Well, these income tax laws are about 102 years old. I mean, we haven't been paying a federal income tax in this country for very long, but basically they were brought into being by Congress in a session, a skeleton session around, I want to say, Christmas Eve of 1912, and it basically got us off of our gold standard and got away from the U.S. Treasury, and brought this country to a point where it was borrowing money from a private institution to print money for its own citizens. So it's a system that dates back to the Templars, and like I was saying, being the 13th episode and being the origins of the Friday the 13th superstition, I kind of thought I'd bring this up to mention, because what the Federal Reserve System has been doing to this country has been increasing our debt. Every time they lend us money, whether it's for an economic bailout or for, some kind of a government spending program, the debt actually falls to the people of this country. So when we collectively pay our income tax, what we're actually paying isn't the money that we owe back, but just the interest, which is why the debt continuously grows. So the practices of the Templars are still kind of in use today by the Federal Reserve and by the International Monetary Fund, and what they're doing is bankrupting nations, all across the globe.
Shylock's. There's a bunch of Shylock's.
Well, I get all of that, but, I remember, I had to look it up, actually, because I forgot the guy's name. I thought it was Rossellini. It was Rossini. They say that there was no written evidence for a superstition for Friday the 13th before the 19th century. And the earliest known documented reference was in Henry Sutherland Edwards' 1869 biography of Gioacchino Rossini. He died on Friday the 13th, by the way. Rossini was surrounded by the last admiring friends. And if it be true that, like so many Italians, he regarded Friday as an unlucky day and 13 as an unlucky number. And that's remarkable also that on Friday the 13th of November, he died.
Well, there are some people who believe that 13 is an unlucky number because this is a Christian myth, that because the 13th person at the Last Supper was supposedly Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Norway people thought that as well.
Yeah. So, but in truth, it was a Friday the 13th in October of 1307 when the Templars were rounded up, and Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Templars, uttered a curse that to all of Europe, the papacy, and the royal family of France, that the Templars would have their revenge. And it's interesting because the only thing that you can really trace back to the Templars that survives to this day is their system of banking. And their system of banking has been a curse to any nation that has suffered from the practices of the money manipulation. Much like our country, that has an ever-growing debt because all we ever end up doing is paying off the interest on the loans that our banks make to us to fund this nation and its government. Yeah. So, it's a long way about going about, connecting the two, but it does seem to kind of ring true when you think that, like I say, that the only thing that really exists of the Templars, in modern day is the system of banking that they gave to the modern world, and that has been, kind of destroying nations as they use it.
As they live rather well. You mentioned, just rewinding 1 minute, you talked about, what was the Last Supper?
Yes.
And numerology-wise, number 12 was considered divine organizational arrangement, but you think about it, they were talking about things like the 12 months of the year, the 12 months of the 12 hours of the clock, the 12 deities of Olympus, the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 apostles of Jesus, the 12 successors of Muhammad in Shia Islam, the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 years of the Buddhist cycle, whereas that number 13 was irregular, and that kind of transgressed the completeness of all the other stuff. And as you say, that superstition about the Last Supper and then having 13 people seated at the table will result in the death of one of the diners. It's almost like we had that talk last week about let's talk about things and take some things that happened and put it into a movie like we did with The Shining. It's kind of like what it reminded me of when they tried to throw that in about the Last Supper. They threw that in at the last minute after all the other things based on 12. And then he said, well, don't forget Christians commemorate the crucifixion of Jesus on a Friday, too, before Easter. But what's that got to do with the 13th? Now they're really digging. So we could go on and go on and go on. But I got to tell you, your explanation with the Knights Templar makes a whole lot of sense, especially right on through to today with the underground organizations, the banking system. Sorry, and all those little giveaways on our paper bills. That's not by accident.
No, it isn't. Not at all. Well, thank you very much for tying that up for me too, Ron. You see, you always do your homework. I mentioned to you one thing, and the next thing I know, you've managed to carry the segment.
No, I don't carry the segment. I try not to do too much studying, but goddamn, can I Google? I can't lie about you. Can't lie about that. Bubba?
Yes.
Speaking of the banking system, what kind of an account do you have? What kind of stockpile do you have in case that Armageddon hits?
Ammunition.
I'll tell you
I've never had a bank account, man.
I'm just kidding with you, man. I kind of knew that, but at the same time, I figure I'd ask to make sure that you were still hanging in there with us, But hey, guys, there's just so darn many things to talk about. And, for those of you who are listening, if you want to talk about any of the things that we've talked about in the last 13 weeks, the chemtrails, UFOs, it doesn't matter. Email us. Or, if you know how to get a hold of us through social media, I'm at RaunchFoxx.com. Twitter, it's RaunchFoxx. YouTube, it's RaunchFoxx. On Facebook, it's RaunchFoxx official page. Get to me somehow, or just email me at RaunchFoxx, and all these are 3 X's in Fox at gmail.com, and say, hey, I wouldn't mind being on the show to talk about that. We've had Chef Lou come in and talk about all the sick stuff that's in food. We've had some pretty interesting conversations here in these last 13 weeks, and we want to continue that. I got to tell you guys, again, my phone, my messages, I'm getting hit from left and right now about the chemtrails again. So, people are saying, hey, I'm looking up. A guy apologized to me that if I told you his name from the internet, you'd never believe he said he was sorry, this guy. But he said, I've been looking up, man. I'm sorry that I thought that. He says, now I know the difference between contrails and chemtrails. I'm like, well, there you go. Just awaken and, you're not a whack job. But before we go, I got to tell you about a dream I had. And here's something for everybody to think about. I had a dream 2 days ago. I woke up at 4:15 in the morning, sat up in the bed for a good 15 minutes pondering. I was in a restaurant or a club or something, sitting down, and this guy in a suit comes up and he sits right across from me at the table. And, hi, Ray, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, it's Ray, right? Everybody else call me Ron. Well, either way, we know who you are. And, we've been following you. You talk about conspiracy theory. You talk about chemtrails, UFOs, aliens, who's really running the planet, other species. You've been going off. You've been saying a lot. I'm like, yeah, well, it's what I feel. He said, well, we want to share something with you. He says, I work for the government. And I said, yeah. And this is true, guys. This is true story. I remember like I just woke up. That's how vivid it was. He says, the conspiracy theories. I said, yeah. He said, well, they're absolutely true. And not only are they true, those all come from us at the government level. We put out all the conspiracy theory and make you think it's a whack story because we're actually telling you the truth without us telling you. And why are we doing it? Because it's going to dummy you down. It's going to desensitize you. So when you realize that the aliens are really running this planet, and before everybody freaks out about religion and everything, we're going to dummy you down a little bit more and give you a couple more instances. We'll even tell you a little bit about 911 and Osama bin Laden. But let me just tell you that we are the ones that put out the conspiracy theory because we can't tell you as a government the absolute truth to avoid complete pandemonium. And I woke up.
That's stunning. I mean, it almost just makes too much sense, and it seems to me like that it works for them even, to kind of let that kind of information out so that there isn't a massive panic or so that people, who have been in the know for a while can be turned to and they say, well, Jesus, you were telling us about this forever. And it turns out you were right. Now what do we do?
Well, we send Ed Snowden out to make him feel like a spy.
There you go.
So it is what it is. Well, everybody, again, this is episode number 13, and we're going to call it a wrap. Bubba, thank you for sharing all those wonderful feelings.
You share my feelings.
And Paulie, as usual, you always bring in something cool like that, so I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Raunch, and thank you for doing your part, too.
Hey, I try, man. So, we're the first, but it's not the last. Episode 14, we'll be back next week. hopefully we're going to start making some calls. We're going to start bringing in some guests and some experts on different topics so you can really enjoy the shoe a whole lot more. So with that, RaunchFoxxx, Bubba Ganoush, Paullywood. We'll see you next time. It's a RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. That wraps up episode number 13 right here on Earthcast Radio. You can hear us on iTunes, on Spreaker, on Podomatic, and of course, the latest and greatest right on RaunchFoxx.com, as well as Earthcast Radio, which is a new site that we're building as we speak. But you can access it. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
That's all, folks.
That wraps up another edition of the RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. If you're a glutton for punishment, keep coming back for more, and don't forget to check out RaunchFoxxx.com. The RaunchFoxxx Foxxcast. Seen and heard around the web and the main vein of Earthcast Radio.